Hi guys, welcome to Baby Premie World. This is episode 3 of this YouTube channel. I'm absolutely excited as always. And if you are new watching, where have you been? And nonetheless, it's good to actually have you here. The more the merrier. I definitely would love to engage with you guys. So the only way I can do so, of course, is through you doing the right thing and subscribing. And another important thing, tell a friend to tell a friend. You know, that's how we actually spread the word. Another important thing also is to make sure to also follow me on my Instagram page. That is, of course, baby_premie_world right on your screen. So I look forward to interacting with you guys. For over here, we're all about sharing knowledge as mothers and most importantly, just celebrating those cute babies. Right, now for today's topic, it's quite sentimental for me as we are going to be talking about my journey of how I gave birth. Now, obviously, we all have a story to tell, you know, we all have our different, unique story of how we gave birth. And honestly speaking, I don't think we can honestly say one birth experience is better than the other. That's what makes life so beautiful because everybody just has their unique story. So I'm absolutely excited as I just want to share with you my unique story. Just thinking about it absolutely makes me emotional. And I think a huge part of this, obviously, most of you guys would know that I had given birth to a beautiful baby, but who is a premature baby. You know, we all know that you obviously have to give birth, well, the normal range is 40 weeks. But to my unfortunate, I had to give birth at just 28 weeks. So I think you might just need a cup of tea just so you can get to understand what were the reason why I had to give birth at such an early month, or rather weeks. So a huge reason why I had to give birth at just 28 weeks was, of course, I am a kidney disease patient, as most of you guys would know who have been following me throughout my journey. And need I say more, medically, it is indeed proven that patients who have kidney disease will have some dire consequences, you know. But I must be honest, to my fortunate, I was able to have such a good support system. I'm talking about family, and I'm also talking about on the medically also in terms of the doctors that were involved. So, in a nutshell, I had to perform an emergency C-section, and for the reason was because I was at high risk due to hypertension. It was on the 11th of February 2020, and as most of you guys obviously know, last year 2020 was a rather difficult year because we were officially being introduced to COVID. And because of COVID, it made it very difficult also in the medical profession. So I had literally given birth at just 28 weeks, and my baby was pretty much 1 kg. I remember the first time I actually saw her. Unfortunately, I never had the opportunity to actually see her the moment I gave birth. And a huge reason for that is because I was sedated. So in other words, I wasn't given the opportunity, or I didn't experience to see myself actually giving birth to her. So they had sedated me, and then one moment I was awake and the next I was fast asleep. And as I woke up, I was just told that my baby is out and she is healthy, because by that time I didn't really know whether am I expecting a baby boy or baby girl, which was really quite weird, if I can call it like that. But it was a phenomenal experience. But to say the least, I remember when I saw her, literally, gosh, what came to me was thoughts of gratitude, and I cannot overemphasize just how grateful I was, because the more I think about it, the more I realize that she's indeed a blessing. It is always said that babies are a blessing, but to be honest, having experienced what I experienced, I can definitely say that she's a miracle child. She fought the odds, especially because she was a preemie baby. Obviously, her lungs wasn't fully developed. And she was vulnerable. She was absolutely vulnerable, just like any other premature baby. I remember just seeing her with tubes all over her tiny body, her 1 kg body. I couldn't comprehend. I just couldn't comprehend what is going on. But at the same time, what I could comprehend is I have this human that I have to take care of. Literally, the moment I thought about that, the so-called motherhood instinct kicked in. Just like any other mother who who's new at this motherhood journey. So I was absolutely. I was thrilled, but at the same time, very, very heavy on emotions. Just looking at her tiny body, and thinking to myself, will she ever catch up with the other babies? And that's the crazy part about giving birth to a premature baby. You become in complete disbelief that your baby will ever be the so-called normal size. I have had interactions with people who pretty much went through the same experience as I did. In fact, it was so beautiful to see the kind of bond that I created with some of the new moms. Obviously, each and every one of us had our different pregnancy journey. And one thing that I absolutely valued is that we were just so committed to always being there for our babies, especially because we knew they were vulnerable. We always made it a priority to constantly check on our babies, even as hard as it was, because we were also on a healing process. After C-section, you obviously need to heal because your body is of course bruised, physically, and you're also just mentally tired in every aspect. So it was just nice to come across a group of women that we can just come together with and really just grow, and just share some of the tips on how to breastfeed, which that honest story was quite a daunting experience. I think we can rather leave it for another topic. It's so important that you actually find yourself in a space where you have a good support system. And hence I said in the beginning that once you have a support system, it really just helps in many aspects. I remember with me, one of the things that I was fortunate with definitely is, of course, family. Just having a good support structure family-wise that can support you, whether it be financially, whether it be mentally, spiritually. All those aspects are very, very important. And another thing is to try by all means to find professional help if you so feel the need to do that. I remember I found myself in a space because we were surrounded with so many new moms. This was at the NICU, which is the neonatal intensive care unit, where obviously I constantly came across new moms just like me, going through the same experience as I was, having given birth to small premature babies. The difference is that all our babies were different in terms of kilograms. Hence, I said mine was 1 kilogram. I remember another mom was like 1.5. The other one was like 2 kg. So babies were definitely different in terms of how much they weighed. But to say the least, rather, the support structure that we got from each other was absolutely heartwarming. I remember at some point where I actually struggled to actually give, to breastfeed, and that wasn't a pleasant experience, to be honest. Let me know in the comment if you'd actually want me to tap on more about breastfeeding. Because I remember right before going into motherhood, I was so adamant that, you know what, I'm going to be the type of mom who is going to definitely breastfeed. And initially, that's what I wanted, but life happens, and sometimes you plan something, but it doesn't really happen the way you initially would want it. So I really wasn't able to breastfeed ideally the way I wanted. And a huge part also was contributed from the fact that number one, I had given birth early at 28 weeks, so obviously my milk production hasn't yet fully developed, but nonetheless it really just differs from persons to person. So I would have ideally wanted to breastfeed, but under the circumstance, I couldn't, And this is one of those reality that I had to accept. It made me at some point feel a bit of a failure as a mom, and a huge part of it also was because of how society just labels how important breastfeeding is, which it is, but society sometimes forgets that not all moms can breastfeed because of other underlying factors, such as like myself. And I'm almost guaranteed that I'm not the only mom out there who hasn't had the opportunity to actually breastfeed, So a community of women who actually understand what you're going through really, really helps to go through this journey. And for me personally, I feel if in any way I can reach out to a new mom out there in terms of developing themselves, in terms of just growing as a mother, if I can be that source to help out, then it means that I am a step ahead, then it means that I'm reaching out to the right people, because that's exactly what I want. So hence, that's why I'm so adamant about informing new moms about anything related to motherhood and just the developmental stages of babies. So if in any way you'd like to interact with me, you know how to do it. You can always just drop me a comment there. And of course, interact with me also on my social media platform, that being Instagram. As a mother, you do find yourself feeling vulnerable when you are unable to actually interact with your baby skin to skin the moment you give birth. And for that, that is why I feel that it is so important to make sure that you are whole spiritually, if there's one thing that kept me sane throughout this whole process is definitely my spirituality, and I cannot shy away from it, because it plays a huge and a vital role of the woman that I am today, the mother that I am today, and most importantly, anoint your child with the blood of Christ. Anoint your child with the blood of Christ. I remember vividly two scriptures that kept me going when I felt at my worst, that what if something could happen to my child. And literally those two scriptures was on the book of Jeremiah 29 verse 11. As I quoted, hopefully I'm quoting it right, it says that, "For I know the plans that I have for you, plans for you to prosper, plans for you to have life in abundance." That is one scripture that was so impactful for me. I remember just laying my hand on the incubator, really just declaring it upon my baby day in and day out, irrespective of the fact that I was not able to touch my baby. I just made myself to feel consolidated by the fact that I'm saying the scripture. And another scripture in closing was the book of Isaiah 43, verse 2, if I'm not mistaken. It says that when you go through the deep waters, your troubles will not overwhelm you. So sanity is important, you know. I think that's why today, as we speak, we have a high rate of mothers who go through what we call postpartum stress. As you will remember, on my first episode, I did tackle on the topic of maternal health. If you haven't watched it, please make sure to look at it. It's quite very informative. Yes, you. Come here. Closer. Closer. Did you subscribe? I don't think you did. But anyways, if you haven't subscribed, thank you for not subscribing. No, 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 no. The right thing is to subscribe. Please, guys, I really do need your support. How else are we going to grow if you're not going to support? So please do support this mama over here. I really do appreciate it. And thank you so much for everybody that has subscribed. And if you are commenting and engaging with me, I absolutely do appreciate it. Keep on doing that, as I definitely want to grow with you guys. As I said, over here, we're all about learning from each other because we celebrate motherhood and most importantly, those cute little babies. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Look forward to the next episode and make sure to subscribe. Bye.